There are moments when you feel completely alone, like no one understands what you are going through, no one hears your silence, and no one truly sees the weight you are carrying inside your heart. But even in those darkest and quietest moments, Allah is not distant from you for even a second. He knows every tear you hide, every pain you cannot explain, every thought you keep buried inside, and every word your heart whispers when your lips stay silent. And before you think you are forgotten or unseen, remember this truth. People may not understand you, but your Creator already understands you completely. And in this message, you will discover 7 powerful lessons that prove your pain has never been hidden from Allah. Chosen one of the hardest pains in life is carrying emotions that nobody truly understands. Sometimes you try to explain what hurt you, but people only see the surface and never the deep wounds inside your heart. You smiled while hiding sadness, stayed quiet because you were tired of being misunderstood, and carried battles that nobody around you could see. There were nights when your chest felt heavy, moments when you felt alone, even in crowded rooms, and times when you wanted comfort but received judgment instead. But what people fail to understand, Allah already knew completely. He saw every silent tear, every hidden fear, every heartbreak, and every prayer you whispered through pain. Allah does not need perfect words to understand your suffering, because He knows your heart better than anyone else ever could. Human beings only understand what you can explain, but Allah understands even the pain you cannot put into words. And maybe that is why Allah allowed certain people to misunderstand you, so you would stop depending on people for healing and start turning completely toward Him. Because people may comfort you for a moment, but only Allah can truly heal the soul and give peace to a broken heart. Chosen one, sometimes the deepest pain in life is not what happens to you, but the feeling that nobody truly understands what you are going through. You smile in front of people while carrying a heavy heart inside. You stay quiet, because explaining your pain only makes you feel more alone, and you keep fighting silent battles that no one around you can see. There are nights when your thoughts feel too heavy, moments when your chest feels tight with emotions you cannot express, and days when you feel exhausted from pretending to be okay. People may judge your silence, misunderstand your reactions, or leave when you needed them most, but Allah has always known everything you could never put into words. He sees the tears you hide, hears the prayers you whisper in broken moments, and understands the pain behind your quietness. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every hidden fear has always been fully known to Him. And maybe that is why Allah allowed certain people to misunderstand you, so your heart would stop searching for complete healing in people and start finding true peace in Him alone. Because only Allah can fully heal what the world could never understand. Chosen one, sometimes the deepest pain in life is not the hardship itself, but the feeling of being completely misunderstood by the very people you expected comfort from. You try to explain what is happening inside your heart, but no matter how much you speak, the weight you carry inside cannot be fully expressed in words. So you begin to stay quiet. You smile when you are breaking inside. You sit with people while feeling emotionally distant from everything around you. You answer, "I'm fine," when your soul is exhausted. And slowly, you learn to suffer in silence, because every time you opened up before, you were either judged, ignored, or told to just move on, as if your pain was something small. But what people fail to realize is that some wounds are not visible, and some battles are not meant to be understood by everyone. Allah already knows every detail of what you are going through, even the parts you cannot explain to yourself. There are moments when your heart feels so heavy that even breathing feels like effort. Nights when your thoughts do not let you rest. Days when you feel surrounded by people but still completely alone inside. You carry memories that still hurt, emotions you bury deep, and fears you never shared with anyone. Yet, even in all of this, Allah never left your side. He saw every tear that fell when no one was watching. He heard every silent prayer you made when your lips could not even move. He knows why certain words hurt you more than others, why certain memories still break you unexpectedly, and why your heart sometimes feels tired for no reason. Human beings only understand what they can see, but Allah understands what is hidden in your chest, what you suppress in silence, and what you are still trying to heal from. And maybe this is why Allah allowed you to experience misunderstanding and emotional distance from people, because if everyone had fully understood your pain, you might have started depending on them for your healing instead of turning to Him. Allah never wanted your heart to be attached to fragile human understanding. He wanted your heart to rely on something stronger, something eternal, something that never fails. People may come and go, they may listen or ignore, they may comfort you for a moment and forget your pain the next day, but Allah never forgets a single tear you shed or a single emotion you carry. Every silent struggle, every broken moment, every hidden fear has always been seen by Him. And when Allah finally heals your heart, you will understand that the pain you thought was breaking you was actually bringing you closer to the only one who could truly understand and rebuild you completely. Chosen one. One of the heaviest trials a believer can face is feeling misunderstood while carrying pain that no one around them truly sees. And even this feeling is not new in the story of faith. Many of the prophets, peace be upon him, walked through moments where people around them could not understand their hearts or their mission, yet they were never alone in reality. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, experienced deep emotional pain when people rejected his message, called him names, and turned away from him, even though he came with truth, mercy, and guidance. There were moments in Ta'if when he was hurt, physically and emotionally, yet even in that moment of extreme loneliness, he turned to Allah, and Allah was with him when no one else stood by him. Similarly, Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, carried the sorrow of losing Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, for many years, and his grief was so deep that he said he only complains of his sorrow and grief to Allah alone, not to people, showing that even prophets expressed pain directly to Allah when human understanding was not enough. These stories remind you that being misunderstood does not mean being abandoned, and silent suffering does not mean unseen suffering. In your own life, you may feel like people do not understand your silence, your emotional struggles, or the weight you carry inside, but Allah understands every detail more clearly than anyone ever could. He sees the pain behind your calm face, the exhaustion behind your patience, and the tears you hide from the world. Just like the prophets, peace be upon him, were never truly alone. Even in their hardest moments, you are also never alone in yours. And maybe Allah allows this feeling of being misunderstood, so your heart becomes stronger in turning to Him alone, learning that while people may fail to understand your depth, Allah has always fully understood your heart from the very beginning. Chosen one, there are moments in life when your heart reaches a point where even words stop working, where you cannot explain what you feel to anyone anymore, and not because you do not want to, but because no one seems to truly understand the depth of what is happening inside you. And this is one of the heaviest forms of pain a human soul can carry. When you are surrounded by people, yet still feel unseen. When you are speaking, yet feel unheard. When you are living, yet feel emotionally distant from everything around you. And slowly, you begin to realize that some battles are not meant to be expressed to people at all, because human beings only see what is visible, while your real struggle exists in places they will never reach, in thoughts you never speak out loud, in memories that still hurt you when everything is quiet, in emotions you suppress just to function in daily life. and in tears you hide so well that even those closest to you think you are fine. But Allah knows every single detail of your inner world without you needing to explain anything. He knows the exact moment your heart felt broken, even if you smiled seconds later. He knows why certain words hurt you more than they should. He knows why your silence sometimes becomes heavier than speech, and why you withdraw into yourself, even when people are around you. And this is the reality that separates divine understanding from human understanding, because people require explanations, but Allah requires nothing. He already knows what is in your chest before it even becomes a thought in your mind. And this is why even the prophets, peace be upon him, experienced moments of deep emotional isolation, where their pain could not be fully understood by the people around them, not because they were weak, but because their hearts were connected to something far greater than worldly validation. And when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went through the year of sorrow, when he lost those closest to him and faced rejection from his own people, he did not find complete understanding from the world, but he found complete presence with Allah. And when he went to Taif and was hurt, rejected, and left alone, it was not human comfort that healed him in that moment, but the divine closeness of Allah that reminded him he was never truly abandoned. And similarly, Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, carried grief for Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, for years, crying not to people but directly to Allah, showing that even the most righteous hearts sometimes carry pain that only Allah can fully comprehend. And this is not to make you feel small, but to remind you that your silence is not strange in the eyes of faith, because even the most honored souls before you had moments where their pain exceeded human understanding. And in your own life, when you feel like nobody truly understands what you are going through, when you sit in your room with thoughts that feel too heavy to share, when you smile outside but feel exhausted inside, when you question why certain things had to happen to you while others seem to live lighter lives, remember that Allah is not distant from any of it. He is closer to you in those exact moments than anything else in existence. He is aware of every emotion you suppress, every tear you hold back, every fear you never voiced, every disappointment you never expressed, and every prayer you whispered in complete brokenness when no one else was around. And even though people may misunderstand your silence, Allah never misinterprets a single feeling within you. He understands the language of your heart better than you understand it yourself. And sometimes He allows this feeling of loneliness not as punishment, but as protection, because if people fully understood every part of your pain, you might have attached your healing to them, instead of learning that true healing comes only from Him. And this is the deeper wisdom hidden inside your struggle, that Allah is slowly removing your dependence on fragile human understanding so that your heart can become attached to something unbreakable. And even though this process feels painful, even though it feels like isolation at times, it is actually guidance shaping your soul towards something stronger, something purer, something closer to Him. And one day, you will look back at everything you went through and realize that the moments you thought were empty were actually filled with Allah's presence, that the nights you cried alone were never truly lonely, and that every misunderstanding was silently guiding you back to the only one who never misunderstood you, even for a single second. Chosen one, there comes a stage in life where your heart feels so exhausted that even trying to explain your pain to others starts feeling meaningless, not because your pain has become less important, but because you finally realize that people can only understand you within the limits of their own experiences, while your inner world has become something far deeper, something quieter, something that cannot be fully translated into words. And so you begin to carry everything alone: your thoughts, your emotions, your regrets, your unanswered questions, and your silent battles that no one ever witnesses. And in this state of emotional solitude, Allah is not distant from you at all. In fact, He is closer to you than anything you can imagine, because while people only see your present moment, Allah sees your entire story from beginning to end. He sees what broke you before it even happened. He sees what you lost, what you endured, and what you are still waiting for. And even when you feel emotionally drained from being misunderstood, Allah is fully aware of every reason behind your silence, every weight behind your sadness, and every hidden tear that falls when no one is around. And this is where the transformation of the chosen heart begins, because when human understanding fails you repeatedly, Allah gently redirects your heart away from relying on people as your emotional foundation, not to punish you, but to protect you from attaching your healing to something temporary. And this is why even the prophets, peace be upon him, went through phases of deep emotional isolation, where their pain was not fully understood by those around them, not because they were abandoned, but because their connection with Allah was meant to become stronger than their connection to human validation. And when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, experienced rejection from his people, when he was mocked, ignored, and emotionally burdened by the weight of delivering truth, Allah never left him alone in his suffering. And when he stood in Taif, broken and wounded, both physically and emotionally, it was not human comfort that restored him, but divine reassurance that he was still chosen, still seen, still loved by Allah, in a way no rejection could ever cancel. And similarly, when Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, lost Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, his grief was so deep that it became a lifelong pain. Yet even in that sorrow, he never turned away from Allah, but instead turned closer, showing that even the most honored hearts in creation experience moments where human understanding is not enough, and only Allah remains sufficient. And in your own life, when you feel like nobody truly gets what you are going through, when you sit in silence, overwhelmed by emotions you cannot express, when you feel tired of pretending to be okay, when you feel like your story is too heavy for others to carry, remember that this is exactly the space where Allah becomes your closest companion, because He is the one who understands not just what you say, but what you feel before you even say it. He understands the pain you hide behind strength, the sadness you cover with silence, the anxiety you bury under patience, and the broken pieces you never show to anyone. And, while people may misunderstand your quietness, Allah never misreads a single moment of your emotional state, not even a fraction of it. And sometimes this loneliness you feel is not abandonment, but divine direction, guiding you away from depending on fragile human hearts, so that you can anchor your entire being in something eternal, something unshakable, something that never fails. And even though this journey feels heavy, even though it feels like you are walking through unseen battles alone, Allah is actually rebuilding you in that silence, strengthening your heart in ways you cannot yet recognize, purifying your intentions, deepening your patience, and shaping your soul into a version of yourself that will one day look back and understand that nothing you went through was wasted, because every moment of misunderstanding was quietly turning you back toward the only one who never needed you to explain a single thing in order to fully love and understand you. Chosen one, there is a point in life where the pain you carry stops feeling like something that can be explained to others and starts feeling like something you must simply survive, where your heart becomes so full of unspoken emotions that even if you tried to describe them, no one would truly grasp the depth of what you feel inside. And this is where many chosen hearts begin to experience a different kind of isolation, not just physical loneliness, but emotional and spiritual loneliness, where you are surrounded by people yet feel unseen, where you are speaking yet feel unheard, where you are smiling yet carrying storms inside that no one notices. And slowly, you begin to understand that not every pain is meant to be expressed to human beings, because human beings are limited in their ability to understand the unseen layers of your struggle. They only see your reactions, your silence, your expressions, but they cannot feel the weight of your inner world. And this is exactly where Allah's understanding becomes something completely different from anything in creation, because Allah does not need you to explain your pain for Him to understand it. He does not require you to describe your emotions for Him to recognize them. He does not need you to open your heart in detail for Him to already know what is happening inside it. He is the one who created that heart in the first place, so nothing within it is hidden from Him. Not even the smallest ache, not even the quietest fear, not even the emotions you yourself cannot fully understand. And this is why even the prophets, peace be upon him, who were the most beloved to Allah, experienced moments where their pain was not fully understood by people, not because their message was unclear, but because their hearts carried a depth that only Allah could fully comprehend. And when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, walked through the year of sorrow, losing those closest to him, facing rejection from his own people, enduring emotional and physical hardship, in Taif, where he was hurt and driven away, he still found himself never truly alone, because even in that moment of deep human rejection, Allah was closer to him than anything else, and Allah did not abandon him even for a single second. Instead, Allah elevated him through that pain, strengthened him through that sorrow, and reminded him that human rejection can never cancel divine selection. And similarly, Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, carried the grief of losing Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, for years, a grief so deep that it turned into silent weeping and emotional exhaustion that only Allah fully witnessed. And yet, even in that unbearable sorrow, he did not turn away from Allah, but instead turned toward Him even more, showing that true strength is not the absence of pain, but the presence of faith during pain. And this is the same reality that touches your life today, because there are moments when you feel like nobody understands what you are going through, when your silence becomes heavier than your words, when your heart feels tired of explaining itself, when you feel emotionally disconnected from people around you, and you begin to question why your inner world feels so different from what others can see. But in those exact moments, Allah is not distant from you. He is not unaware of your struggle. He is not ignoring your pain. Rather, He is fully present in every second of your emotional state. He sees the tears you hide before they fall. He understands the emotions you suppress before they become overwhelming. He knows the memories that still hurt you, even when you pretend they do not. He knows the nights when your thoughts refuse to calm down, and He knows the exact weight your heart carries, even when you appear strong in front of everyone else. And while people may misunderstand your silence, Allah never misinterprets a single feeling within you, because His understanding is not based on observation, it is based on creation itself. And this is why sometimes Allah allows you to go through phases where human understanding fails you repeatedly, not to punish you, but to protect you from becoming emotionally dependent on fragile human support. Because if people fully understood every part of your pain, you might have built your healing around them, instead of learning that true healing only comes from Him. And so Allah gently removes certain comforts, certain dependencies, certain emotional attachments, not to break you, but to redirect your heart back to its true source of peace. And even though this process feels heavy, even though it feels like isolation at times, it is actually divine preparation, shaping your soul into something stronger than it was before. And this is why the chosen ones often feel different from others, not because they are abandoned, but because they are being refined in ways that are not always visible. And in this refinement, Every tear you shed alone becomes a form of silent prayer. Every moment you feel misunderstood becomes a step closer to deeper reliance on Allah. Every night you feel emotionally exhausted becomes a place where your heart learns surrender, and every time you feel like nobody truly gets you, Allah is quietly teaching you that you were never meant to be fully understood by creation in the first place, because your soul was designed to find its deepest understanding only with its Creator. And one day, when this phase passes, when the weight lifts, when your heart heals in ways you never imagined, you will look back and realize that the moments you thought were emptiest were actually the moments where Allah was closest to you, shaping you, holding you, guiding you, and preparing you for a level of peace that only comes after you finally understand that even when no one else understands you, Allah always did, completely, perfectly, and endlessly. Chosen one, as you reach the end of this message, carry this truth in your heart and never let it go. You were never truly alone, even in the moments when it felt like the entire world failed to understand you. The silence you went through was never empty. It was full of Allah's awareness, full of His mercy, full of His knowledge of everything you were silently carrying. People may have misunderstood your pain, ignored your emotions, or walked away when you needed them most. But none of that ever reduced your worth in the sight of Allah. Every tear you hid, every prayer you whispered in brokenness, every night you spent overthinking your life, every moment you felt emotionally exhausted, it was all seen, all known, and all recorded by the one who never forgets even a single detail of your struggle. And now you must understand that your journey was never meant to be fully understood by everyone around you, because some hearts are chosen to learn closeness with Allah in a deeper way, in a quieter way, in a way that removes dependence on people and builds pure reliance on the Creator alone. So do not be broken by those who failed to understand you, and do not measure your value by those who left you confused and unheard. Instead, find peace in knowing that Allah understood you completely when no one else could, and He is the one who will heal you in a way no human ever can. And when your healing finally comes, you will realize that every moment of misunderstanding was actually guiding you back to the only understanding that truly matters, the understanding of Allah, who was always with you, always aware of you, and always enough for you.